Jay here, Full-Time Devils. This is the Europa League preview. United away at LASK this Thursday. A game which at the time of recording maybe have to play behind closed doors due to the coronavirus, but that's not been confirmed yet as we're recording this. Joining me today are a pair of perfect pundits. With us, we've got Adam Mckola. How are we doing, Macca?
I'm all good. Did you call us perfect pundits or perfect tits?
Well, either or works. Both works, to be honest with you.
We are a magnificent duo, you know what I mean?
You're a meme, you two, aren't you? People must recognise you as that their meme.
We are more than memes.
Yeah.
We are saviours in some parts. My nan was still alive. She'd have a picture of him on our wall. Oh, you're not bringing her back alive, Jay.
Strange things happened. He maybe is able to make people rise from the dead. Is Jesus, but it's not Jesus that's with us. It's Joe from the Stretford Paddock. Joe, how are we doing?
I'm good. Yeah. Sorry, we've just got a phone ringing, but don't worry about that. Ignore that.
You still have a phone?
It's an alarm thing for someone trying to get in the door. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Unprofessional. I apologise.
Yeah, a bit unprofessional. That. Come on, expect.
I know.
Expect better standards there.
I'm sorry.
It's not good enough. Listen, the feel-good factor seems to be back at United. It feels almost like Ollie's at the wheel tackle. We're winning games, we're keeping clean sheets, we're getting last-minute goals, we're beating our rivals. Macca, how do you feel? Do you feel like there is a real positivity about the club? And do you think that we need to take that into this game and go all out for a win?
Again, like, a draw is not the end of the world, is it? It depends on what team we put out, really. Right, that will probably impact on how we feel about the result after the game. We've got a lot of players back. I think it's just Rashford, Pogba that's out. I think Lee Grant's out, who's never played for us anyway, off the top of my head. So you look at that and you think, we've got a lot of our squad back. There's a bit more competition for places in some positions, not all. And if we should be able to rotate it, there's no reason why the players coming in now shouldn't be able to do a good enough job. So I kind of feel like we should be going there getting a win. But it could be a strange one if it is played behind closed doors. You know, all that kind of thing. How will it impact the players, the atmosphere of the game, and the way the game's being played? But despite the fact they are, top of their league and all that, we should be looking to get through. I think before the draw was made, I think everybody was like, "I'll take LASK LINZ, and let's see how it goes." And it's a massive chance to get to the last 8. Just like with the FA Cup, we've got Norwich away, difficult game. City have lost there. But if we're not in the semi-finals of the Cup, we're all going to be pissed off because that's a massive opportunity. And the same goes for this one. We need to be going there looking to hopefully put the game to bed, because a good result there means they come to Old Trafford. Again, our game's going to be played behind closed doors by the time they come into Old Trafford, like next week. Like, that could be a case. And if you can just kill the game before that game even happens, I think he just leaves you in a stronger position. And as we've seen with Ollie as well, he'll be happy to rest players and rotate with some big league games coming up. It's important that we do that, especially with Spurs coming up.
How do you feel about this, Joe? Do you think it is important to keep that momentum going? Do you feel that positivity that we've spoken about, or do you think we need to be a little bit cautious? Because let's not forget, we've been here before, haven't we, where we thought everything was wonderful and the wheels quickly came off.
It's certainly the best it's felt since that initial period under Solskjaer. And we had the dip at the end of last season and obviously started badly this season. I think it is nice, like Adam said, part of it is just having players to pick from again. Like bringing Martial off at the weekend, for bringing Igalo on. Like, I know it's only 4 or 5 minutes, but just that ball that De Gea kicked out, trapped by Igalo, like, just an option. Just Martial gets a few minutes on the bench. We get someone else with some fresh legs on. You just cut out that final minute of pressure. And I think part of the reason we've, turned it around a bit. We're still in the same position we were before we turned it around in 5th, but it feels different and we've been winning games is because, we've actually got players to replace the people that are injured or that, when we need subs, we've got people to come on. And I think that's a massive part of it. I think that'll be a big part of the game on Thursday, is just how, the likes of Pereira and Lingard, who may well start on Thursday, they had been starting every game. Like Lingard, I think Pereira played 28 of the first 35 games or something like that. And that shouldn't be the case for those sorts of players. But when they've had a rest, when they've had a bit of an earful from Solskjaer, and they can come back in and try and prove themselves against a smaller side, that's probably when you'll see the best of them. And to give a few people a rest and let those people come in and perform, I think increases our chances of continuing this form, because you're not seeing people who aren't that good anyway sort of get stretched beyond their means. I think it's probably, it puts us in a good position, and it definitely feels like we've got a chance of winning more games in a row because people aren't playing too many games.
Seems to be a lot of negativity towards Jesse and Pereira. Since we started winning, we've seen a lot of people, even more so than usual, slagging them off. Would you be happy if those two players were to start over in Austria?
Yeah, in and of themselves, yeah. I think changing too many things, we saw against Bruges, even though that worked out all right in the end and 1-1 wasn't a bad result, we looked stale and we looked like lacking options going forward until Fernandes came on after like sort of 85 minutes or so. That's when we sort of turned things around. I know we got the goal before that, but in terms of how we looked, it was pretty stagnant up until that point. But in terms of who they are as players, I think like we've seen that Jesse Lingard can be an excellent player. I know he's been in bad form recently, and Pereira is one of those where he can do a lot of things all right. It's just the pressure and that constant like building of pressure when these players who, as good as, I don't like slagging people off, and I think, like I said, we've seen enough from Lingard down the years to the point where he deserves a little bit of leeway when he's having a bad bit of form. But
you can compare it to Matic, Joe.
Sorry?
You can kind of compare it to Matic. And
yeah, exactly.
When we were relying on him every single week, he looked awful.
Yeah.
He looked really bad. And then when you can just manage his game time and pull him out of the team and use him as a squad player, they look a lot better. It'd be like back in the day if we played Gary Neville and Phil Neville and fucking all these players every single game, they probably don't look as good as they did in the end. You know what I mean? And it's important to have those options available. Like I said, bringing Igalo on for 10 minutes, it just changes things. I think Igalo might start this one as well.
Yeah, I think it probably will. Yeah, it's just reliance on players who aren't 40 game a season players. Because then you drop points as well because they're probably not quite good enough, and then they're getting tired as well, and there's this negative image about them, and it all sort of stacks and stacks. As we've seen with Bruno coming in, there's been this kind of general feeling that I haven't seen from a United side in a long time. Not in how good he's been, not in what he's done on the pitch, but like pundits and fans and everyone, opposition fans, opposition sort of pundits, everyone sort of agreed, oh, we like this lad. Like, there's just been a general feeling that we're allowed to compliment Bruno Fernandes because he works hard and because we can maybe use it as a bit of a dig against Pogba because this is what he should have been. People have just gone, we like Fernandes, and that's just added to this feeling that
I feel that
things are a bit better.
I agree with that though, because I don't want to make this about Paul Pogba and all that stuff, but like I seen Gaz on one of the radio shows the other day saying, Bruno Fernandes is what Paul Pogba is supposed to be.
To be fair though, Gaz did say on the radio that he thought Igalo would get more goals than Martial.
No,
so sometimes you've got to take him with a little bit of a pinch of salt, but I get where you're coming from.
I'm not just digging out Gaz, because a lot of people think that. And I just think it's mental. One, that United fans aren't like, wow, we can have more than one good player in a position. Two, that we start always trying to pit players head to head. We do it with Martial and Rashford, and it's fucking balmy. And I just think, man.
Yeah.
I just think when you look at Pogba was what Bruno is doing to this. Look at Pogba's stats last season.
Yeah.
Now I understand that he's probably going to leave. Like, you see his brother again talking, and it's like, I understand why United fans feel some type of way towards Paul Pogba.
Yeah.
But kind of pretending like Bruno's better than him, I think.
It's almost like someone's got a girlfriend and they know they're going to leave him. So you're already getting your digs in before she goes, like, oh, she's not that fit anyway. Like, because she's going to leave you in a few months. That's the only reason you're saying it.
I feel experience there, Joe.
Yeah, we're getting... no, not at all. I feel like we're getting our, like, sort of have a go at Pogba now, because then when he leaves, we can say we never liked him anyway. We're glad he's gone.
Me and you were talking about this the other day, Mac. The thing with Paul Pogba is, listen, I'll criticise Paul Pogba, and some of it, the criticism he gets is warranted, but some of it, it seems sometimes he can't win. I saw a thing after the derby where someone had tweeted, is he even going to acknowledge our Derby Day victory? What's wrong with him? And then someone else, after he posted on Instagram, was tweeting, look at him, making it all about himself, making the derby win all about him. And I think there's times when he can't win either way. So yes, he does deserve some criticism.
There you go.
Sometimes it is a little bit OTT.
I think he hasn't helped himself. I mean, when you let your agent and your brother and I know they're fully grown adults and they kind of don't need Paul's permission to speak. But when you let them run around and talk about your future without you addressing that, I think you kind of invite that negativity. Now, I know, and I've spoken up in the past about, I think a lot of it is a bit weird with Paul Pogba. But from a Manchester United perspective, I understand why some fans would be disappointed with him. I've never not understood that. I just think a lot of the extra shit is just daft, and this is just daft stuff. Like, for me, Paul Pogba's better than Bruno Fernandes, and like pretending otherwise is silly. But even me, I'm not gonna tweet that, or I'm not gonna oh, Paul Pogba's better than Bruno. I want these both to do well for us. You know what I mean? And hopefully, the motherfucker stays, man.
Well, even if it doesn't, even we can get just some games with them two together before the end of the season, I think that'll be a massive boost.
Let's have a look at what you could have won.
Don't, mate, don't. It'll be uplifting and depressing in equal measure. This is obviously a two-legged game. We're away first. We do have a good home record. We've beaten Watford. We've beaten Hammered Bruges. We've beaten some other team from down the road as well. Do you think Ollie may have one eye on this and think, listen, it is two-legged. We can't afford to sort of not get the best result away because we've still got to face them at home. And also, be looking at the Spurs game coming up as well. So do you think he may look at it and think, okay, I don't need to go all out in my team selection here. I know we'll get to the predicted 11s later. But do you think he may have a little bit sort of... be a little bit more cautious going into this one and thinking in terms of how he goes for it?
Yes. I think he did around the Bruges game, didn't he? I forgot who the next
Watford
game
away.
was. Who did we have after the Bruges
Watford
game?
Away.
Yeah, and he kind of
at home. Sorry.
He kind of reflected in the team selection, didn't it? In that we had a game coming up, and I think again, I'm not comparing the two, and I don't want to start a whole fucking debate in the comments and all that, but when you compare the season that we won the Europa League under Jose, one of the big criticisms was that we were caning people like Zlatan every week, every game, just playing him. And we were caning our squad so that it was affecting our league performances. So far, I don't think the Europa League has affected our league performances that much. And that's down to being rotating. Yeah. That's down to chopping and changing it a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised to see Martial out of the team on Thursday. Wouldn't be surprised to see, maybe even Scott McTominay coming out of the team, saving him, wrapping him up in cotton wool for the game on the weekend. Because it's obvious the league points are more important. But I'd say winning the Europa League is better than finishing top four. So it's a weird one. We're managing it well at the moment, though.
Yeah.
There's no reason you can't do well in both, especially when you spend how much we spend on our squad.
Yeah, we're on that sort of weighing scale at the minute where it's like, at what round of the Europa League does it become more important to win the next Europa League game than the Premier League game? And I think we're not quite there yet, are we? But I think if he gets to semi-finals and finals, we might see resting players in the league. But I think it goes back again to having players back and being able to rotate. I think we'll definitely see a rotated side, like we saw against Bruges. And a lot of people were annoyed at that 1-1 in Bruges, but the performance wasn't great. But that result is, if we get a 1-1 away at LASK, I think all things considered, like you said about playing behind closed doors and all that kind of thing, that wouldn't be a bad result. 1-1 with a rotated side, and then play the first team against Tottenham, and then get LASK back to Old Trafford. I think we'll probably see something like that. I think.
Do we even need to play the first team against Tottenham?
Well, whatever Solskjaer feels like we need to play. I think it'll probably almost be exactly the same team we saw at the weekend, to be honest. But I think LASK are a decent side, though. I know they've beaten some good teams this season. They've beaten Sporting, they've beaten PSV. But so we need to not take them for granted. But like you said, I think they're 93rd or 103rd or something in the UEFA ranking. So you'd hope that even, like I said, our away form hasn't maybe been quite as good as our home form. But you think all you ask for when you bring the game back to Old Trafford is be within a goal. Ideally be ahead. A draw would be all right. But even if it's 1-0, 2-1 down, you'd still fancy it, wouldn't you?
I think
we've got to
heads are going to fall off if we're 1-0, 2-0 down against
some people's heads will fall off, yeah. But people's heads fell off after the 1-1 at Bruges. I don't know.
I think that's the problem. Like, that's what I hate about, like, this whole situation. Like, we've got sections of the support that are just waiting to pounce.
Yeah.
And the media and all that. And it just brings that negative vibe around a bad result. And I think, look, he's here now. Let's get behind him.
Yeah.
End of the season, weigh things up then. So far, so good. And we're in good form. And that's the thing. We're heading into good form at the right time in the campaign.
I reckon this 10 games unbeaten, though, will, let's say we do draw, not a great performance again, let's say it's a 1-1 draw again. I think it will give Solskjaer a bit of grace in that people won't be quite as critical because we saw the Bruges tie, we saw how that panned out. We've seen definitely an upturn in form. And like I said, about Fernandes coming in and people just being a bit more positive about United generally, I think it gives you a bit more leeway in this sort of game to play the youth players, not play quite so well, but people will be saying, oh, we saw it against Bruges, these came through easy in the second leg, rather than this is another bad performance from United. It all sort of snowballs, and I think this sort of current kind of feeling that things are turning around a little bit will give Solskjaer a bit more of a break if things don't go so well on Thursday.
Because our best run of form as well since he first came in and was at the wheel, I think. And like the thing then was when we lost that game against, I think it was it Arsenal? We lost the game against Arsenal. Our form stopped and it seemed the wheels just came off. It doesn't feel like that's the case this time, that a defeat could like change the spirit and change. And I think we're going into every game thinking we can beat whoever's in front of us, which is always good.
We're going to take a short break and then we'll be back with the guys' predicted 11s. Predicted 11 time. First of all, I'll start with you, Macca. Who's going to start in LASK Linz?
I haven't, and this is after Dome.
It always is with you. It's been the same for the last 8 years or whatever it is. Have you ever done it any differently in the history of FullTimeDEVILS?
I used to when producer Chris was here, but
mate,
now Jay,
that's a low blow.
Jay,
Seriously.
Romero in net. I think we'll probably go back to the back four. We'll see Diogo Dalot. We'll see Eric Bailly, greatest centre half in the world. We'll see Harry Maguire, who seems to be is going to be in that defence regardless, no matter what happens. And then we'll go Brandon Williams. Brandon Williams. We'll go Brandon. Then in midfield, we'll go. See, Scotty Too Hotty came off the bench. So is he going to. And I kind of feel at the moment, Ali prefers McTominay, Matic and Fred. Just to build a little. So I think we'll see McTominay in this one. And maybe he'll come off early if he is going to have him in mind for the game against Spurs. So we'll go McTominay. Mata. Bruno. How many have I done? 4, 3.
You got 3 midfielders, so you need either a front 3 or another midfielder for a diamond.
Igalo. So now I need my 2 kind of wide-ish players, yeah?
Yeah.
I think we might see Jesse. And that other one's not going to be Andreas because you're not going to see both of them. You won't see Paul and Barry. The other one is... I don't even know. Daniel James is fucked, isn't he? See, he's trying to sign a new deal, so he'll probably end up starting, but Mason Greenwood.
As Diogo Dalot, your mate, has he told you he's starting? You and him like that, aren't you? Bezzies?
No, message him again today. See what he's saying. See if he can get us in behind closed doors.
Joe, who's going to start over in Austria? Give us your predicted 11.
Can I just say, by the way, that was the greatest bit of journalism we've seen this side of the year 2020.
Facts. It's all about facts.
I actually wrote mine down before we started, and there's only 2 players different from Adams. So what was the point? So I've got Romero. I think it'll be a back 4 as well. I think it'll be back to the 4-2-3-1. I've got Dalot. I've got Twanzebe, who's obviously on the bench against City, so I think he'll come back in. And then Maguire, we saw Solskjaer say that he wasn't going to rest him in the Bruges game, wasn't it? And he's just basically going to the Derby game, sorry, before his little niggle. So I think he's just going to play every game until he gets injured, Maguire. So he's in. And then I think it will be Williams. I wouldn't be surprised to see Shaw, though, to be honest, because Williams played against City, didn't he? And I think he likes Shaw at the minute. And I think Shaw's one of those players where, with his sort of body type and that, I think it pays for him to play more games rather than less games. So I won't be surprised to see him start, but I think it will be Williams. And then a midfield three.
Sitting at the back of the bench.
Yeah, exactly. Loads of curly-whirly wrappers on the floor when they go up in half time.
Love you. You're not.
You what, sorry?
Great.
What's that?
Luke watches probably.
I think he's been really good. I thought he was excellent against City. I think it'll be a midfield of McTominay. I reckon it'll be Pereira next to him. Matic probably could do with the rest because he's played about 20 games in a row. And I think, like you said, him and Fred seem to be the sort of number one partnership there. So I think they'll both get a rest. And I think we'll see Fernandes just because we still struggle to create, even with players coming back. When he's not there, we see us struggle. So I think Fernandes will play. And then I'm going front three of Greenwood, Mata, and then Igalo's got to start, hasn't he?
Bruno seems one of them Rooney type, you know them. If you better fucking play me in this game. Yeah, but it's Rochdale away in the first round of the League Cup. Nah, play me in this game. He seems like that kind of player. He'd play a game a day before a World Cup final and not give a fuck. He's going to get injured.
You see on social media as well, like all the time he's talking about assists and commenting on people's like pictures saying finally an assist and that. I think he's obsessed with his numbers. I think he checks those goals and assists. Like he wants to end the season on 20 goals, 20 assists. And if it's playing against LASK away, I reckon he reckons.
But I think that can be negative sometimes in that some players will be like, if I've got a goal and an assist and we've drawn, I'm happy. But again, he doesn't seem like if we're drawing games and you're hearing what about the Everton game, he was pissed off. Like that is a real driving force, and you kind of see like he seems to have brought. He's brought a little bit of a relationship with Anthony Martial. He's striking up relationships with the midfielders, and that's what we need. Someone that's going to come in and make these. We know Martial's got the talent, but like I said, he don't make that run if Bruno ain't on the field. He doesn't even think about it. He thinks, "Fuck, use like a shit." I ain't even and he doesn't move. And whereas now Bruno's on the field. You get, mate, when we get Rashford on there,
and Pogba as well.
Marshall, Pogba for a few weeks.
Yeah.
Great.
I love the fact that Bruno's got a bit of bite in him as well. Do you know what I mean? Like telling Pep to shush and getting in the ref's face and things like that. I love all that, mate. Do you know what I mean? Like you were saying about Rooney, we missed a little bit of that sometimes. Sometimes we're a bit too soft, but he's certainly not the case. Moving on to LASK. What do we know about him? Mackie, you've been doing your own work. Tell us all about him.
The first in the Austrian Super League.
Thanks.
Lost
Joe,
against Red Bull Salzburg in the semi-final of the Austrian Cup the other day. So they'll be very disappointed by that, and they'll want to do well in this competition.
Yeah, and to add to that,
that was more than I expected. To be fair, there, you've done more than I thought you would have done.
And to add to that, I would say that they finished second in the competition last season to qualify for the Champions League, but lost, ironically, to Club Brugge in the playoffs, so United beat in the last round. There you go. There's a little stat for you.
They've got some great names in their team. So, like,
go on.
We've got Goiginga.
I love that.
We've got Ramsebna.
Goiginga.
Ramsebna sounds like he's a tough one. We got Schläger.
Schläger.
We got...
I like Ragus. Ragus sounds good.
Ragus.
Yeah, man, I'm into
Klaus
that.
de Melo.
He's good.
Klaus de Melo.
Some good shit in here, man.
Yeah.
Thomas Sabitza's like the only one out of their players that I recognise his name.
Yeah.
Did he play for Switzerland?
I don't know. He's definitely played for...
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
But let's not forget that I think memory serves that Philip Weisinger is suspended for this one. Anyway, yeah, I think he might be.
If memory serves you correct, did you say?
Yeah.
yeah. Just thinking about it. Memory serves.
Memory and reading.
I think.
And just to add to that, I think I'm just remembering something about. They've only won the Austrian League on one occasion in 1965, I reckon, when they became the first side outside of Vienna to lift the championship. But just. Yeah, I think that's right.
I'm hearing.
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth there,
right,
actually.
Yeah.
I was just about to say that, but you've said it for me. Guys, give us your score predictions. Joe, I'll start with you. What's the score going to be?
I expect a similar sort of performance and kind of approach to the Bruges game, so I think it'll be tight. They're used to winning games. They beat PSV. They've beat Sporting this season, so they're going to be difficult. I reckon I'm going to go 2-1 United. I think it'll be tight, though. I think if Bruno plays, we'll win, and I think if he doesn't, we'll draw, but I think he will, so 2-1.
I love that. Mako, what's it going to be?
Like a tiger. 2-0 United.
2-0 United? 2-1 United.
It's going to be
United.
kind of
I'll
taking
go.
that. Sorry, Jay. If they do play this game behind closed doors, obviously massive disappointment, when you're trying to go to the game, United fans, all that stuff. But we take their home advantage straight off them.
And also, it's not their usual stadium either, so they haven't got that much of a home advantage. They play at a separate stadium for the Europa League game, so they've only played a few games there this season.
Can I ask a question, right? This might sound silly, but if they have to play behind closed doors, do we still get to play with a crowd at Old Trafford?
As long as coronavirus hasn't gripped the nation.
Yeah, it wouldn't be like, we need to even it up in terms of advantage. It'd just be like,
I think it will be definitely going ahead, because even then they would need some of that money. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
really, got to look at finances here. Ultimately, I think we should just scrap the whole football calendar, but
that's not the worst idea I've ever had. Anyway,
next season.
Yeah, why not? Do you know what I mean? I don't have a problem with that.
Other season in the Europa League, if other teams are willing to sacrifice what they have at the moment for the safety of the nation and our grandparents.
Yeah, it'd be selfish not to.
Solidarity.
Exactly. I think you've got to take a long hard look at yourself if you don't agree with that. Joe, where can people find you?
Stretford Paddock on YouTube, on Twitter as well at Joe Smith 93. Check it out.
Joe Smith 93. You got your IQ in there. Macca, you
Tell
won't be
Tell him
over
your
it.
Grindr account as well, Joe. Go on.
Yeah, go on.
There's no external link. You're just gonna have to get in and swipe.
Macca won't be over in Austria because it looks like it's behind closed doors, but he will have reaction from the game as well. So don't forget to hit like, share, and subscribe. That's been Adam Mckola. That's been Joe Smith. I've been
meet
Jay.
me outside the ground.
Yeah, he's always about. You know where to find him.
What are we going to do if games are behind closed doors, Jay?
You're still going to the game, mate. I don't care. You can just stop randomers.
Yeah. I say we do full-time Devils coronavirus parties for the games. Old Nag's Head. Boom.
I like the idea. I don't know about the name. We might have to rethink the name. Coronavirus parties doesn't.
Watching
probably
parties.
Not the best. Watching parties. Yeah.
Parties.
Yeah. Let's just have a.
Because most of these
bastards, it works without the coronavirus.
People just realise you can clean your ass and wash your hands.
Yeah.
I love the fact we're getting told to wash our hands.
Finally are washing their hands like that's a new thing. Have you heard about this? Washing your hands after you do a poo? Yeah. We've been doing it my whole life. What's going on? Wash your hands.
It's scary the amount of people that probably haven't though. That's what worries me. And it's like, sing a song so you're washing him long enough.
Just wash your hands.
What? Dear me.
You don't
Dear Lord.
kiss like this.
Right, enough. I want to end this right now. Jesus wept. Right, this has been a full-time Devils preview. I've been Jay. Don't forget to hit like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.